Hey y'all, Kawaii Con here, and today I'm actually recording this while laying down in bed because my phone actually has pretty excellent microphone on it, and my mind has just been stewing a little bit extra lately on the whole Gen Alpha parental parenting thing, and I have some thoughts on it because I got pushed a really scary short yesterday about I don't let my kids watch YouTube, but they still snuck and watched it, and little Johnny's watching cartoons that are telling him to me, and it's freaking scary. It's really scary. Like she said before that, and the reason she took YouTube Kids away, and mind you, I'm saying YouTube Kids. Like there are fucks out there that I know of who are letting their kids not even just on YouTube Kids, but fully adult, unlocked, all access YouTube, which is not absolutely not appropriate for children, just by the way. And it's like the reason that this woman had to take away the YouTube Kids in the first place was that she said he was watching a show that was similar to Caillou, and that was encouraging the children to run out into the street when a car started coming. Very opposite of what you should be teaching your child. Obviously, you see a car, you're supposed to get out of the way, not run into the street, right? It's mind-blowing, and when you consider the source of where this cartoon came from, is it AI generated and a mistake that just got, that slipped through the cracks? Is it intentional troll shit? Is it something darker and deeper, like how there are companies out there funded by Jeffrey Epstein to traffic people, like Loop? And if you haven't heard of that, go watch Nick Crowley's latest video on it. But anyway, we don't know the source. And we're in this world right now where everyone is mad at Gen Alpha, upset with Gen Alpha behavior. Parents are blaming the teachers are blaming the parents. And I was even watching Asmongold today, and he made the good point of teachers are allowing this stupid shit of transitioning your child without letting the parents know. And you have to wonder if these are the same teachers that are not able to hold a classroom. And I have dove so deep into this topic because it greatly interests me. I really do want to know, is this just more bitching we're hearing from teachers because there's more internet access than ever? Like any upset teacher can now go and vent online when that wasn't happening 20 years ago. So is it truly worse, or is it just the access of internet that has made it more prevalent? And so I particularly found a thread on Reddit about I've been teaching since the 90s. Have you noticed a change? And a lot of people are saying yes. Now again, this also captures a subsect of people who are pissed off because no one having a pretty regular time is probably going to come across such a Reddit form. They're not going to look it up. They're not going to just stumble on it, or it's less likely. People who are having a tough time teaching right now are using these outlets to reach out. So you have to consider that that may also be part of this testing we're doing, this pool of testing that we're testing from might be really saturated with that as well, and therefore a biased opinion, right? And my whole thing is it just always comes back to the parent. I don't give a fuck what anyone else says. It comes down to the parent. Ultimately, a teacher can hold some weight on children's behavior in class, but even I was a good student and I did some dumb shit in class that every kid just tries. They all push boundaries. They all test the waters on what they can get away with if they're trying to be funny and gain popularity or approval from a certain person in the class or something. That can be very normal for a child to want to deviate from their rules from home to see what they can get away with at school. That can be normal. It is up to the teacher to try and pull in these kids and guide them. But ultimately, all of the fault that we're seeing can be put in the parents' hands. And I applaud the mother I saw for taking away YouTube Kids, because even I would have thought YouTube Kids was safe and I would have let my kids be on it if we had access to it. But honestly, like, it costs money, so it's fucking like, we have like shows aplenty already that we pay for, and games to entertain them with, and real life activities like art and reading. Like, we encourage all that stuff. So I like fully am not trying to dish on this, rag on this mom at all, but at the same time, you have to be like, your stuff isn't on lock enough if your kid is still finding a way to get on YouTube when you've taken it away. Like, it is still on your fucking shoulders, and it needs to be addressed. Just as a side note here from Editing Cont, because I did speak with this, I brought this up to my husband, and his opinion on it was, not only she shouldn't have just hidden it away. If you hide it away like candy, the kids are going to want it even more. And he had a really good point with that. What you should be doing is, as soon as you take something away, you explain to your child why you're taking it away. Now, obviously, you sometimes have to dumb things down for them. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, of course. They're children, right? Like, they just simply don't have the comprehension of how the world works. They don't have the understanding. They don't need to understand some of these awful things, right? So the only thing you need to do is get on their level and say, hey, I know it may not make sense right now, but we need to do this for you for your own safety. Because if you don't understand why running out in front of a moving car is bad, then imagine all the other things you don't understand, little Johnny. So I want to keep you safe. And if you want to watch YouTube, I want you to do so next to me so that I can answer any questions for you. The answer is not just to hide it like candy and treat it like this special secret thing that they don't have access to. That's just going to make them want it more. I think that's a great point that my husband made, and I want to make that clear here, that you should be conversing with your child on every decision you make so that ultimately they understand why you're doing it. I tell my kids all the time, I'm not doing this to punish you. I'm not taking this away for any bad reason. I'm doing it for your own safety, and you'll understand someday. Okay? And I'm so passionate about this subject because I see that there are parents who care, and I believe there are a lot of parents who care and may just genuinely not know the right way to do things. Maybe they had a tough upbringing because boomers were really hard as parents. They were. Some of us got abused. Some of us got, I need an A+, I need you to become a doctor, I need you to become a nurse, I need you to become a scientist. And it was really tough, and we do want the best for our kids, and we want to just give them love and attention, right? So I get that there's a group of parents out there who mean well and probably aren't doing the best. But at the same time, I can't ignore the evidence in front of me that I witness, and in reality, in my real fucking life, that parents just don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. I 100% can attest to this. And I'll give you some real world examples that are just blowing my fucking mind right now. So I took my little girl to a birthday party recently, and obviously she knows a lot of the kids there. They're all celebrating this girl who's in their class, and she's known some of these kids for years now, and I've gotten to know some of the parents here and there. Let's just leave it at that, okay? I do know the parents. I do, and I will be talking about their children again. But this child, of course, it's getting late. It's getting to be 7:00. They're having an outdoor swimming / slide party. And once again, you hear, okay, we're going to go soon. And the child runs away and doesn't want to leave. So they just ignore their parents and occasionally will fight back. Oh, I don't want to go now. The usual, right? I look at my little girl when I'm like, her teeth are chattering. It's probably time to go. Kids, I don't know if adults fucking realize this. So I will always teach you as I give my stories here. They do not know how to fucking take care of themselves. I used to play in like 20-degree weather and I didn't feel a thing because kids don't feel that shit. They can't tell when they're sick unless it's so bad that they're like they're at the absolute worst, like highest fever part of the sickness, or extreme cold to the point where like they're getting frostbite, things like that. Like they do not fucking notice anything unless it's extreme. It is on the parents to take their kids out of these situations because they are so playful and imaginative that outside factors like truly don't bother them. Honestly, they're like little He-Mans. Like I swear to God, their resilience is insane. But we still have to be parents and step in and say, okay, it's time to go, which I did. And you know what? I got a little pushback. Oh, I don't want to go right now. Oh, too bad. It's time to go. And what happened? I got my daughter out of there faster than the 10 minutes they had been trying to get their kid to like come out. Like I was already in the car and they were still at the party. I'm pretty sure they may have been getting out at that point. I don't know. I was all the way across the street in my car, but they were still back there when we were leaving the fucking party. So it's like your kid doesn't listen because you don't enforce it. It's plain and simple as that. My little girl had one complaint too because because this is how the party went. It was a party that started at 5, right? So like right at dinner time, or what you would probably consider the earliest time for dinner time. So I was like, you know what? I gave her a snack like an hour and a half ago. But at 4:30, my little girl loves to eat. She started getting hungry and she was asking me for dinner, and I was like, well, we're about to go to a party and I know there's going to be food there because I saw on the flyer that there's going to be food there. So let's wait a little bit. I'm not trying to cave into her every will. Obviously, it's important to meet her needs when she needs food, but I'm trying to teach her how to plan ahead when she gets older. Like, not just think, I'm hungry, me eat. Like, think, I'm hungry, but also there's going to be delicious pizza at this party. I should probably wait a little bit and have some water or something. So I take her to this party. She immediately forgets her hunger, of course, right? Like, again, she's a child, resilient as fuck, and goes and plays and has like a fun time. An hour in, I'm like, okay, I need you to get out so you can eat. She gives me a little pushback, as kids do. They will always test boundaries. Don't expect them not to, even if you're a good parent and even if you're firm with them. They will always, always push boundaries no matter how firm you are. I don't want to eat. And you know what my response is? I said, well, I guess I don't have to take you to any of these parties, What did she do? She ate. She ate her pizza. She, she probably gave me a little sass, like a little like whatever, like, oh, okay, I'll eat, I promise, like whatever it is, like she does in response back. But ultimately, she eats the pizza. It's delicious. And I did have to get her to finish it. I was like, yeah, you gotta eat all the way up to here, and then you can go play again. Because, again, resilient. They don't want to fucking do anything. Like, kids would literally die without our interference and intervention. But, like, you have to step in as a parent and do what's best for your child. Like, period. End of story. And people will listen to that and they'll be like, oh, obviously I'm going to do what's best for my child. But then they think it means handing over the tablet every time their kid experiences the slightest twinge of boredom. Which leads me to my next story. I was hosting a birthday party this time, and problematic child A, who's like been a problem like for the entire year, and I think last year too, for my little girl. Like, this child is always upset, always telling lies, always saying, are we friends, always like bothering. Like, I truly feel for this little girl, because it's like I cannot imagine what is making her so upset to the point that every single day she's throwing tantrums at school, she's crying, she's teacher, this person lied. So, like, she's just the drama queen. And it's not her fault because she's fucking 7 or 8 years old, right? Like, so it's clearly coming from the parents. And, like, I know her parents are split up. I know this because I met them both. And I was like, you know what? I feel for this little girl. I think we should still invite her. Like, maybe I was like trying to teach my little girl to mediate between them, because there was an issue like between the two girls. It wasn't really directly at my little girl. And it was my little girl was in the middle of these two. So I was teaching her to mediate and how to like get everyone to just get along. Because ultimately I want to teach her, like, if the group can get along, you got to shrug off small things and just do what's best for everyone and just have fun, right? Like, and if someone's truly a problem, that's when we cut them off, and that's when we don't interact with them anymore. And that's what we've been working on now. But this was months ago. So months ago at this party, this little girl is, I literally was taking pictures of the event, as you do. And looking back on the pictures, you know how it captures like a 3-second video? There's moments where like everyone runs to the piñata to grab the candy. This little girl sees no way for her to edge in. She's like the last one to get there. And she immediately crosses her arms, pouts, points her body in the other direction, and runs out of frame. All within that like 3-second shot. And she's not even in the final picture. So like that threw me off. And then during the party, this little girl gets so fucking upset. For I don't know why. Like, the other girls are just vibing more. She can sense it. She can sense that they're getting along, or they're saying like, oh, I want to be Rumi. Oh, I want to be Mia, or whatever the girls' names in K-pop demon hunters are, And then she's like, well, I want to be whatever name. And they're like, we already have this. And I'm like, girls, there's like 8 of you. There's only 3 girl characters in this movie. You all are gonna have to share, right? And so this little girl's getting so fucking upset, and she comes to me and she's pouting and she's like, I'm so bored. Do you have like a device I can play with? And I'm like, no, I don't, because. And then she looks over at my laptop, which is sitting on like the family desk, like downstairs, like in the back of the room. And she's like, but I see that. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't mean you can have it and you can play on it. Because in my mind, I'm thinking like, if she starts playing with it, all the other kids are going to play with it and bring their soda and pizza over there. And, it's just a headache. It's really a one person activity, maybe two. Both my kids will play on the computer sometimes and they'll share. But like, this is a party we're talking about. She's just going to put it down in a minute anyway, or it's going to be, they're going to fight over it, right? So it doesn't make any sense. So I'm over justifying this now. I don't feel bad about it or anything. I'm trying to clear up like my thought process for denying a little girl something. And she's like, well, do you have a phone or a tablet that I can play with? And I'm like, no, like why the fuck do you feel like you need something to get over this? And it's like, we're not letting our kids experience boredom anymore. And I saw a really great TED Talk years ago that was like, we only grow in discomfort. So if you're constantly feeding yourself with dopamine and going to a fix to feel better, going to a distraction, what does that look like when you're older? That looks like a drug addiction. That looks like an unhealthy coping mechanism. And that looks like you're not really reflecting on any problems. When I was a little kid, if you're bored at someone else's house, it sucks. I know that 100% for sure. But the answer wasn't to just distract myself. It was to look within, right? And like try to find something that I could have fun with in my own mind, because there was literally no other option, right? There weren't screens back then. There weren't, like, if there were games, they were being hogged by my cousins. So it's not like that was the answer. It wasn't like I was going to go start playing with their toys or their books, because they weren't mine. They weren't personal to me. I didn't care about them most of the time. It didn't even interest me. There's something that happens in your brain that's really important. And it's the same reason you shouldn't rush to pick up a crying infant every single time that they cry. You have to learn to self-soothe. I will always say that. It is so important. Because if you don't, you're building up the bridge for, again, unhealthy coping mechanisms and distractions that, later on in life, if you give into, you're never going to reflect on what's really bothering you. You're never going to have time to just sit and just be in the moment for a bit. So it was so shocking to me that this little girl just immediately, as soon as she felt like the largest amount of pain during this party, her instant reaction is to just numb it. This is a very scary thing going on. Another story with the parents of the little child who wouldn't leave the party. It was their turn for a birthday party, and this child was turning 5, I think, and maybe 4 or 5. No, it's got to be 5 by now. And I kid you not, like, I'm not even making this up. It sounds so made up, but it's so true, because my kids saw it, like, and they told me about it. They were like, yeah, the deal was that he had to stay off his tablet until they were done singing happy birthday to them. And then at which point, or like, I think it was either that or like after he was done eating. Yeah, it was eating. And then kid immediately gets on his tablet at the birthday party, at his own birthday party, mind you. This is how bad it's gotten. Can you imagine? And like, maybe they open presents beforehand, but most birthday parties, you eat, you have some cake, and then you go for presents. Again, sure, maybe they open presents before this. That's really neither here nor there, I guess. But what happened to a child just enjoying their birthday party, having fun? Now they're immediately going on their tablet, which is again, a 1 or 2 person activity max, and just numbing themselves. Like, I am genuinely so scared for the future here, because we're just developing people who are going to be complacent, just as complacent as these parents are for not enforcing anything. You know, it's like if you say, hey, if you keep doing that at the table, we're going to leave the restaurant. But then you don't ever leave the restaurant. You're building complacency. That's been a thing for decades. That's been a thing for generations now. And now it's getting even worse, because these kids truly have a place to just numb their mind, to just go to, that is seclusive, away from their own fucking birthday parties. They can't even handle to be at their own birthday parties. And I don't have an answer for you outside of you need to give a fuck about your kid. Now, I've been dying to give parental advice. I've thrown it out here a couple times on this channel. I have wanted to find people who want the advice. I would love for this to be my job, because I really feel like I do a pretty good, moderate job of raising these kids. And I want so badly to positively impact our future. And this isn't just about making money. This isn't about like me, like being a know-it-all or feeling superior. This is about, I genuinely care where the fuck our generations are headed, because millennials are already dying off from what I saw. Like, more than any other generation we've seen in like a century, like millennials are just straight up just dying off. And since they're not having kids, they're not passing down anything. And then I don't even know what to say. I am so flabbergasted at this. I want to be the Caleb Hammer of parenting audit. I want to be a parental audit figure, but I highly doubt anyone would be willing to come to me so that I can, and like honestly and in truth, and in ways that I can factually prove as easily as he can prove with, financial statements, that they're not doing what they're supposed to be, what they should be doing, or what they say that they're doing. I want this. So if you would like an hour session with me on questions about anything to do with raising kids, I don't care if it's, what do I do in this medical emergency, or like, hey, my kid wants to transition, like, what do I do? Or like, how do I get my kids to listen more, or anything. Like, I am 100% willing to do this. I am going to ask to be paid up front, because I'm not going to lie to you. I've been paid. I've tried to pursue this before, and like give like advice over like Fiverr or things like that. And it always gets sexual. It always gets weird. And I'm not going down that route. Okay. Like, I don't know if it's 'cause I'm a woman. It utterly, completely sucks to be interested in this kind of business, and people just see you as an object constantly. It really fucking sucks. So I'm happy to give advice to anyone who wants it. Maybe gift it to a friend of yours, because I assume that if you're listening to my channel, then you are like-minded like me, and you maybe don't have a big problem with it, but maybe you know some people who could use a fucking lesson or two. Anyway, oh my god, I talked forever. It truly just is time for us to step up as parents, and this has to get done. So, I thank you for listening to me. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.